For today, I have kind of a very light topic. It's called laughter medicine. Okay. And the minute you see somebody laughing at that, I can see everyone is already smiling. Okay. So I'm just going to discuss kind of a few, topics around what's this laughter all about and what's the big deal about laughter. I'm sure a lot of you know that, funny is laughter and things like that. But there may be something a little more than just the part about you getting tickled and feeling funny about it. So stay on. Okay. Now, laughter is something that definitely improves your breathing and improves your lung capacity. So it's good to laugh once in a while, at least once a day, I presume. Find a chance to laugh, and um, it improves your lungs and it releases very good positive hormones in your body. Uh, and it also releases hormones to stop you from laughing as well. Because if you laugh forever, then you might die of laughter. Okay, so they call that die laughing, right? And because of the hormones that are released, it starts to reduce stress. And guess what happens when you reduce stress? You start reducing inflammation in the body. Now, a lot of problems that occur, which are not communicable diseases, but you get a lot of funny problems, is because of inflammations. And they can be in a lot of places. Inflammations can even happen, anywhere. It's not just on the external part or your muscle, it can happen anywhere. And this is something that will actually silently, maintain that you don't get too many of these problems, right? So the very interesting thing is laughter begins even before a baby can talk. Have you noticed? Okay, some babies won't be able to talk, but then when they when they see something funny happening, you make a funny face at them, especially babies, and they'll start running, they'll laugh at you, right? This can happen. So it's nice. It's a very joyous laugh thing, but it's so innate to human nature. Laughter comes before even they can speak. Okay, so there's a lot of cognition happening when a child laughs. It's connecting something. It's finding it funny. Okay. Uh, Humans are the only beings on this planet that can laugh. Now, don't tell me hyenas. Hyenas, that's kind of a bark. Okay, it sounds like a laugh, but it's not. Okay, I'm talking about an intellectual laugh. Human beings are the only animals that can do it. So, um, it's a kind of a it's a kind of an evolution that humans have over everything else, and it's something that you can't take lightly. And it's there probably because it has a lot of function just besides finding something funny. Okay. Yeah, and when you find something really funny, it's called uncontrollable laughter. Sometimes you watch that really funny comedy show, and or somebody tells you a joke while you're sitting down, and you can't stop laughing. You just keep, you're almost losing your breath. Okay, it can happen sometimes. Now, but for some people actually have a condition. Okay, and and you know, typically like Parkinson's and Alzheimer's and things like that. Sometimes the laughter just automatically occurs. Sometimes you'll find people laughing when there's no joke at all. They just suddenly out of nowhere they'll start laughing. Now I'm not talking about those. There is a condition, PBA or whatever they call it. Uh, but when we get into this uncontrollable laughter, which will probably last more than a second or so and goes on for a whole minute sometimes, is when your neurons have actually made a new synaptic connection, and it has triggered some kind of an association. Okay, and the association, sorry, might need not be images. Um, they can be words. They can be situations that say, oh, I never looked at it that way. So it gives you a third perspective of something. Okay. You look at life in a particular angle, and sometimes humor, what happens is it shows you a different part of it, shows you a completely different angle. And uh, and when you suddenly find that is something that you really, your mind has suddenly learned, got a epiphany, as you say. Oh wow, actually, that's it's actually funny, but it's also true. And it becomes a kind of a belief for you at that point. You say, oh, I never knew about this. And when those neurons connect, That's when there's a whole spark of, the spark of humor becomes even more pronounced. So, but here's something that is curious. Why do we laugh? Okay. And I don't know if you can go and look up the internet, you'll find a whole book, 200-300 pages about why we laugh. And most of it is to do, is you laugh because you've understood it, okay? And you know what is funny. Okay, you've learned over the thing what is funny, and your natural response to that is to laugh. Okay. But that kind of a reaction is actually a kind of a trained reality for you. It's trained, because how did that happen? You saw people actually laughing when they connected the dots and found something funny. Like, and it could be a sentence. Sometimes, a sentence or a phrase can make you laugh. Sometimes somebody's action can make you laugh. Like when you watch slapstick comedies, Laurel and Hardy and all of those can be funny. Okay. But it is because of our cultural, not a cultural, but the way we've been brought up and the way we have seen the world. When something like this happens, your reaction is to do this. When you see somebody, dying and going to his grave, that time you don't laugh, you cry. So there is a lot of social conditioning that has gone behind a lot of the emotional expressions that we have. Okay, nothing wrong. That's how we are, and that's how we are built. People are even built to be stoic and not let their emotions surface. You can control your sadness, you can control your anger, you can even control your laughter. But laughter is usually, it may not be loud and crazy. I mean, there are many different ways people laugh. Some people snicker, and some people go oh oh oh. The laugh can be quite different for everyone. But it is actually a sign of intellectual comprehension. And within a group of people, it is trying to say, my thinking, and when everyone laughs and they're all laughing at the same time, you're just saying, my intellect is as good as yours. And when somebody doesn't laugh, they kind of feel, oh, I'm not in their bracket. And sometimes people are laughing, they look at the guy who's not laughing, say, you didn't get it? And it's like saying, are you stupid? It's actually, that's how you will interpret it. So laughing in society, in gatherings and things like that, is all about trying to show your dominance. It's a part of your ego that's coming forward and saying, I'm as intellectual, or I'm as clever as you are. Okay. And for that reason, a lot of people just fake it. Even though they don't understand, they'll see about 20 people laughing, and they'll also say, oh, they're all laughing, I'll also laugh. Okay. Kind of herd mentality, what do you want to call it. But that happens very often. I've seen that happen many times. And that's why what they've done is, in the comedy shows, they'd have this laugh track. And every time the laugh track went on, you would also laugh, even though you might not have understood the joke. You just look at everyone who's watching with you, probably a kind of comedy serial, a lot of people sitting in your family, they're all laughing, so you also laugh. And the cue is, I got to laugh, so I should laugh. Okay. So yeah, I know, we are always being manipulated some way or the other. I know we've done a lot about how we live our lives, the kind of what we eat, how we think. And here's one more example of how we have been silently manipulated. We've been forced into a situation where we have to pretend and do it. But it's okay. There's no problem. You can pretend to laugh. It's still good for you. Okay. But then, of course, the chemical, the neurological implication of a real laugh and a fake laugh is quite different. Okay. So if you're just laughing for no reason and you're just trying to keep up with everyone, it's not really be very productive for you. So, some people get it, some people don't get it. It happens. Okay. So nothing to really worry about. So what can you do? How do you induce laughter? We've got a lot of struggle in our life. We've got, especially the newspaper, when you open it up, first thing you get is the horror times. All the crappiest things in the world that are happening, the negative times, I'd like to call it, they're all there. And it's very hard to find something that's stimulating in a more lighter way. Okay. So you can watch comedies. Now, when I say watch comedies, watch subtle comedies. The reason being, if you watch too intense a comedy, your mind races at that point of time. When you watch a subtle comedy, you just have okay, you're not laughing not laughing, upside down, but you're just being, sorry about that, I had a call. So just being a little, just easing yourself out, okay? And it's always good to watch a couple of subtle comedies. Don't, is it really funny one I want to watch? Don't worry about this. Watch some subtle ones. There are some very subtle comedies. They'll have a joke probably every, 15 minutes rather than every minute. The one-liners, all that. Stand-up comedy can sometimes be a little more hilarious, a little tighter, and it can be more tense because you have got to pay a lot more attention. Subtle comedies, it'll come in a flow and it's a lot gentler. So my advice is to watch some subtle comedies here and there. Read humor stories. Now, the visual effect is different, but when you read something that's funny, it is a different way of humor entering a sense of your mind. So when you're reading, you have a different implication of how that humor sounds to you and how you will react to it. And it's a sense that you need to open up. So also try reading, read funny stuff. If you don't like reading books, okay, go through a couple of comics that you see, comic strips that you see in the newspaper, or buy some comic books. There are some very funny ones out there, like Mad Comics and all of that. And read humor stories. There's a lot of them out there. I think you might have heard of Jeeves and Wooster, right? That's absolutely the one. Read those books. I mean, they're really, really funny, and it's a very different kind of a humor. You should watch. You should actually read some of those. Now humor can be used also in a very different way. You can use it to diffuse a very, very bad problem. Okay. Now, for example, let's say traffic. Okay, and every day there's a damn traffic jam or there's something out there, and you could probably draw a little cartoon out there and say, two guys in the cars parked next to each other, and they've unfolded a table between their car windows, and they're having like a glass of beer and saying, it's good that we caught up over here. Who needs to go to a pub? It's good we caught up here, which is trying to say that we know how long it takes to get through traffic. And so what happens is you take a very, very tense and a very sensitive topic, and you can soften it by saying this is part of life, what to do. These things happen and you've got to live with it. There were some people, I saw a cartoon, people who are scared of flying. There are a lot of people who are very, very scared of flying. And so this guy's kind of checked into so do you have anything to check in, sir? Yes. I'd like to, no, sir, you have to put that in check-in baggage. You cannot take it on board. No, but it's only a parachute. Okay. Now, I'm just saying that, and when somebody reads that cartoon, they'll kind of say, okay, I know I have fear of flying too, and it's kind of, it'll ease a lot of fears, and a lot of people do have phobias. And humor and, cartooning images and cartooning statements will help reduce a lot of phobias, like people who are scared to take the elevator. And they can have cartoons. They have like cartoons around that saying the guys like run up the staircase, 100 stories, saying, "Oh, are you scared of the lift?" No, I was just trying to get a more cardio, So I mean, these things are really, really helpful. So anyway, here is the last laugh. When you want your vitality back and you want people to come and notice you and say, what the hell are you doing in your life? You look just so great. Okay. And that's when you have the last laugh. And that's because some people are following the dynamic vitality model. So if you're curious enough to know about it, do check me out. And if there's anything funny you like about this video or anything that's been interesting, do comment. And if there's a topic that you'd like me to talk about, definitely write it in the comments under this video. or wherever you see it, just type a comment or a discussion on it. And I'll definitely make sure I'll do something about that topic and try to make it very interesting. So thank you, and we'll see you soon.